Master plan of the community. And its specifications. Then what else? Very important. Fahad?
Prices. There are the prices.
Prices, of course, but before the prices, who do you sell the plots to?
Yeah.
Who are the other developers inside the community who are building? Yes, other developers who have completed projects, under construction projects and new projects. What are the new upcoming projects in the? Close to handover. What's close to handover? Because why we are discussing this? Because we need to know what is ready to establish what is the average selling price of the area. Then we have to establish what is ongoing, because people might be interested in that if they want something close to handover. And these people might be willing to deal with us because they have bought, and they might be looking to resell at a certain point or rent when it's get handed over. So these buildings are the most potential for us as new brokers to enter into the market, because these clients will be more interested to talk to us. People who have already rented the property or have sold the property might not be so interested, or who have the property and who are going to retain the property for a certain period of time might not also be interested. But the people who have bought recently or who have bought a year ago and the project is still under construction and there is a 2 to 3 years gap, these are the most important buildings which we should target, because these people have probably bought with an intention to resell at a certain time, or which, in terms of a cycle of the buy, the best time to resell a property most of the times is when it gets close to handover or is just handed over, because at that point of time you get the maximum return in terms of, or capital appreciation in terms of the pricing. And that is why these people, because this is also an underdeveloped area, so people are more interested to buy products in the start, like directly from the developer, so that they can have some capital appreciation and capital gain while they have invested. And there is also the good thing about this is people buy new projects because there is a very long payment plan with it, 2 to 3 years of time, so they have ample time and get flexibility in terms of making the payments, and that also give them a leverage that they own a property as well while they haven't paid in full. So, and over the time, in 1-2 years, they might get a chance to resell the property at a premium. That is why it is very important, and these are our most potential, I'm not saying the most, but they are the most potential in terms of the clients who are ready to deal with other people, who are ready to deal with new brokers or whatever. If you're a new person entering the market, these are the people who will be willing to talk to you. Then we come to prices. Yes, Musa, what do we need to know in terms of prices?
Prices of what?
Of area, when you are specializing in an area.
The average price considered in a building.
In a building or in an area as well?
Then in an area.
Average price of that area in terms of rent and sale both. And the prices can be different. The average prices can be different. Can it be different for projects which are ready and projects which are under construction?
Yes.
Correct. Why? Because obviously something which is ready is a different, mortgage buyers can buy that. They are easy to rent, or they are already rented, so there is a different kind of return. While the properties which are still under construction, they don't work in that way. So that's why the price range, or the average selling price, or average whatever rent, of course, when it's ready only, can be different. So you should know what is the average sale price of a ready tower, and what is the average sale price of a tower which are under construction in that area. Okay, so this also is very, very important, the average prices. And then Sajid, yesterday we discussed why is that why do we need to know the lowest and the highest prices?
Because we can, when we know about the highest and lowest price, we can inform the client or our customer correctly. Because someone making the fake listing the client.
Forget about other brokers or fake listings. The most important thing is it helps us to profile a client when we are speaking to a buyer or a tenant, and qualify them better, and it also helps us to negotiate with a seller. When we are dealing with both parties, it gives you an edge, because you have more knowledge of the product and more knowledge of the prices. You know what is the maximum and what is the minimum prices in that area. So it helps you to deal with both the parties confidently. With the seller, you are able to negotiate. With the buyer, you are able to profile them better, that they are you can qualify them whether they can buy this in this area or they cannot. So that is why it is very important to know all of this. Then what else is there, Dania?
Like you have to have the comparative on the other area.
Yes, you need to know what is around that area. Why is that important, Musa? Huh? Musa? So रहे हो क्या? So, why is that important? When you are dealing, let's say in downtown, why do you need to know about Business Bay also?
Because it's nearby.
It is nearby. And what are people going to do? Whoever is going to speak to you, whether they're buyers or sellers, they're going to compare prices because the areas are adjacent. And so, since we are talking about Arjan, what do we have next to Arjan here and there? Once, just give me one name. Barsha South. Yes, Sajid? Villa Lantana, but that is a villa community. Yes, Rafia? Arjan Heights is name of a tower. So we're talking about a community, Arjan as a whole. What communities are next to Arjan? Fahad? JVC? Farah? Huh? Dubai Hills Estate? Yes. DHE? Rafia, you haven't studied the communities adjacent to, like what areas are next to it? You haven't gone to Google Maps? Yes, Dania? Sports City, yes, correct. Motor City as well. Yeah, that is JVC, Jumeirah Village Circle. Jumeirah Village Circle, JVT, this all comes in Dubai land basically, and it all adjacent to Arjan. So it's all sandwiched. Arjan is sandwiched between all these areas from all sides. So of course we need to know about the average selling prices and the average rental prices of these areas as well for the sake of comparison. And also, since you know more about your area, so you can convince the client more about your area and you're more confident about like why is this better than that area. So this is the basics of the community that you should know, and what we are dealing in right now is Arjan. Musa, so you are a specialist in downtown, right? How many plots in downtown?
150.
Are you sure? 150 plots?
150, 180 के आसपास.
I want you to do your research now, okay? You should know how many plots are there, how many developers are there, how many buildings are ready, how many buildings are under construction, and how many buildings are newly launched.
150 के नीचे.
Don't give me this. This is not cricket. This is real estate. So I want to know all of this information. If you think you are an area specialist and you don't know all of this, then thank you very much. We will not be able to do anything with that information. Half-cooked information is always bad. Okay, so coming back, Fahim, वहाँ पे आबिद है क्या? दानिश, यार ये जेनी से बोलना एक मार्कर दे. So you guys have done your research. Hamza, Fahad, Sajid, Rafia, and Farah. You're all in Arjan. You 5 people will be doing only Arjan. Rest of the team will do JVC, whoever is coming. Dania, you're doing Soba? You're doing downtown, right? Yesterday we discussed the community, what all you have to know about the community. Now we are going to bifurcate and pick up a building that is going to work for us. And as we discussed, there are going to be like there is in any community, there is residential, commercial. What is residential? Tanya? Residential is apartments. Residential is any property that people are using for residential use. It can be an apartment. It can be a townhouse. These are type of the property, okay? And it can be a villa. What's an apartment? A property or a closed space that you have within a tower or a building. Is an apartment. What's a townhouse? townhouse is a plot of land on which you have a construction but your walls are attached. जैसे घर होते हैं ना, your walls are, either wall can be attached. If you are in the middle, both of the walls are attached to the next one, and if you are at the corner, one of the walls is attached. So this is a townhouse, a construction, and generally it is what? Ground plus 1 or ground plus 2. It can also be ground plus whatever, ground plus 3 as well. There are some townhouses which are ground plus 3 floors, what I am talking about here. Generally it is G plus 1 or G plus 2. And generally what happens is, let's say it's a plot of land which is, let's say, 1500 square feet. This is the plot area. But the built up is 2300 square feet. Sajid, why do you think that is? Hamza?
Because there are 2 floors, the ground plus 1.
Yes, because it is 2 floors. The plot is only 1500 square feet, but you have constructed on the ground floor and then you have constructed a first floor. So that built up area is the combined area of both covered floors. So that is why in townhouses always your built up area is more, write it down, and don't miss these points. Your built up area is always more than your plot area, because you are going to build on top of it, right? Whether it is G plus 1, G plus 2, G plus 3, whatever that is. But always remember that when somebody gives you a property and they don't know whether it's a townhouse, sometimes it happens they don't know it's a townhouse or a villa, they will say, I have a plot of land. And whenever you look at a title deed of a villa or townhouse does not have built up area on it. What does it have on it? Yeah, sorry, I forgot. You don't know what is a title deed. So a title deed, for people who don't know, whenever you buy a property, and it is, write it down if you don't know. Whenever you buy a property, your property gets registered in Dubai Land Department and you receive a document. Let's suppose you're buying something which is from a developer and it is under construction. So your property ownership document that you receive, what is it called, Musa? When the property is under construction, uqud. It's called uqud, and it's also your pre-title registration. So when a property is under construction and you're dealing with a client, you're going to ask for their property ownership document, you're going to ask for an uqud. You're not going to ask for a title deed, because a title deed, this uqud gets converted to title deed when the property gets handed over. So very important, you should remember this point. And for example, you're buying a property which is ready, it's ready to move in and this and that. So that property ownership document is called a title deed. And what do we have on a title deed? Can somebody share a title deed copy on the group for everybody to see? Farah, can you share? Townhouse ki kisi ke paas hai? You have any townhouse? Dalo zara group par. So uqud और title deed दोनों डाल दो, ठीक है? So both, what is written on this pre-title registration or uqud or title deed, what's written on it? It has your information of the property and your ownership. It will have, an uqud will have all the information of your name, your details, your passport details, this and that, and your property details, like what is the unit number or the apartment number or the villa number or the plot number, and the size, the plot size of the plot and the size of the built up area, and when was it purchased, how much fees have you paid, all of that is written on your uqud or pre-title. This is a bit more detailed. But when the property is ready, the same uqud in your system gets converted to the title deed, and then on the title deed you get the basic information again, like when was the property purchased, what are the details of the property, which area, which plot number, which land number, which property number, size, this and that. In the case of a townhouse or a villa, there we see the plot area, because you always own the plot. You also own the plot and the built up. So on a title deed of a townhouse or a villa, whenever somebody asks you, you should know that the plot area is mentioned over there. For example, the client will say, I bought this townhouse, it was 2,300 square feet. Why it says 1,500 on my this thing. So you can explain to them, sir, because this is your plot area and that's your built up area. And on a
Sometimes when it happens that the build-up is less and the plot area is bigger.
that's the villa. In case of a villa that happens. In case of a villa, the plot is always bigger. We will go to that after this. So you have shared, Musa, Ukud and title deed both. Can everybody open your where is my
For download or?
anything, whatever you have.
I did for 1 page.
Share whatever you have. So this one that the guys, so this is very basic, but you have to understand and learn. You should know which is a title deed, which is a Ukud. It's very basic, but just go through this. It's also called, this Ukud is also called initial contract of sale. So don't get confused if a client is telling you I have initial contract of sale. So you will understand that it is basically the Ukud. For example, this is an initial contract for sale for a property. Property name says V Tower 603. So it's Tower V, 603 is your apartment number, so 6th floor, 03 is your series. And then it says what is the property type? It's a 1 bedroom. Everybody's opened it, right? The developer name, it's Tiger Properties, land number 2096. That's the land on which the building is getting constructed, okay?
That's the plot number.
That's the plot number of the building, but it doesn't concern you otherwise because you don't own, you own just a share of it because you own a property. Project name is the V Tower. Area is Wadi Al Safa. For example, you are taking this in Arjan. Let's say you are talking about Joya Blanca. So Joya Blanca is the name of the tower, and Arjan is the name of the area. Then there is net sold area, which is 66.67 square meters, and property value is this. One more small things, because there are new people. I just want to, yaar, ye marker to, there is no new markers over there. तो चल ही नहीं रहा है. You know how to convert square meters into square feet? Once, yes, please write it down. You will use it every day. 1 square meter is equal to 10.764 square feet. Okay, and just to give you a basic idea that here people generally like to get understanding in square feet, but if you are speaking to European clients here and there, they are more concerned with square meters. So you should know both. If you are speaking to a client, you should know what how to explain it to them. Again, coming back on this, net sold area is your built up area of the property, and it says 66.67 square meters. So how do you convert it into square feet, Rafia? Yes, it is 66.67 square meters. Multiply by 10.764. How much is it, Fahad?
7.3.
How much?
7.3 was my listing.
It's a listing. Okay. So it's 713 square feet. So don't get confused if you see square meters and square feet. You should know easily how to convert it. Then the property value, it's what price have they bought it for? So it's bought at 500,000 something. And common area 59.12. Farah, what is common area? On the first.
The lobby and the.
What's common area, Basit?
Hall area.
Hall area?
Except balcony?
Very interesting. Farah, you don't know common area? Farah, Dania?
Yes, it's just like dining area.
Dining area, common area in on your this.
I guess it's a carpet area. I'm not sure.
No, okay. Let's not confuse everyone. Common area. यार तुम बता दो यार मूसा, ऐसे नहीं करो. 1 करोड़ बार बताया मैंने. What is common area on the title deed?
Common area?
हाँ क्या है common area? वो उकूद पढ़ रहे हैं ना आप. What's common area? मार दो, गोली मार दो हमें तो भाई. फहीम, what's common area यार?
Included with the corridor, balcony, and everything is common area.
Common area is basically in a building. Please don't forget this. Otherwise, it will have dire consequences. This is a building, okay? Building has 1 lobby.
Okay.
It has rooftop. It has podium, parking, amenities, lift area. Okay, every extra space in your whole tower is the common area. Your gym, your swimming pool, your rooftop, your whatever. So that total area is calculated and divided on each apartment as per their share, and that is your common area. Because you don't own the plot, you own a share of the building, right? And you have an apartment on top of it, common sense. So your common area is basically the share of the area of all the shared area. Whatever you get out of that, that's your common area, and that's written on the title deed. Your corridor space, your gym, your pool, your lift areas, whatever, your lobby, you're not using it, right? I mean, you're not using it in that way, like it's not your personal space, it's shared space. But that shared space is not owned, it's not owned privately, it's jointly shared. So that's your common area, and that's also mentioned on this, because a lot of people will ask that 59.12 square, and it doesn't say anything in front of it. It doesn't say square meters or anything. What do you think it is? Sajid? What do you think this is?
Meter.
Dania? Is it square meters or square feet?
Meters. Post meters.
You have a small share. There are 2,000 apartments in this building. Use common sense. It's going to be square feet. And then it says mortgage status not mortgaged. That's also written here. Although it is an under construction property, and generally in the start no under construction property gets mortgaged, but still it is mentioned over here because sometimes the plots are mortgaged. Not in terms of a building generally. Let's say you have bought a plot. You can't, by the way, build on a property if it is not owned by you, by developers and all. So mostly it's non-mortgage, and for ready properties you don't have this document. Ready properties you have title deed, but it's also written over there, mortgage, and we'll go see the title deed also. Then because it is an initial contract of sale and the developer is still involved, that is why this document is more detailed. You still have a contract with the developer because you are paying them on a payment plan for, let's say, the next 3 to 4 years until it's getting handed over. When the developer receives complete payment and gives you the handover, then you are only party and the land department is only party, which is on the title deed. But here, because you are still a party to this contract, that's why it's called initial contract of sale, and 3 parties are involved: your land department, developer, and you yourself as a seller, as a buyer. So that is why it says these parties, like the seller, Tiger Properties, participant, their details, company, license number, then the buyer details, their number, their area that they are getting, their individual type, this is person, whether they are a person or a company or whatever, nationality, your passport number, your passport expiry date, then come down. And by the way, if somebody says, whenever you are listing properties, when you are going to list properties, this is very important, you see the barcode over here, there is a contract number, so you will use the contract number, the initial contract of sale or ukud number, and that's written on top of it, where it says contract number 166196, and 2022 is the year of registration of this contract, 166196/2022. You will be writing this, and they will ask you the year of registration, then you will write 2022. And this barcode as well, wherever you see, underneath also you will see the same number. So that's your contract number, okay. Come down to the initial contract of sale. Again, because this property is owned by 2 people, so we have the second owner written as well, which is Abhinav something, and all the details of this person. Then coming down, you have the voucher list. This is basically when have they paid and how much have they paid. They have paid on 27/10/2022, both of them, and they have paid equal shares towards the property, and the amounts are also written over there. And coming down, this is your initial contract of sale for properties which are under construction, okay. Come down to the second one, which is Bingati Canal 408 title deed. This is a title deed. When you see this document, Sajid, what will you understand first of all? That what? No, I am not saying. I am saying when you see a title deed, what do you establish, Rafia? That it is a ready property. When you see an ukud or a initial contract of sale, you will establish that it is an under construction property. Automatically you will get to know that, right? So when you open a title deed, it means that it is a ready project, a ready property, a handed over unit. Okay, and what do you have here? We have limited information here. We don't have the developer information here, just like it was mentioned over there, their license number, this and that, because now the developer has completed their payment, they're out of the contract. Now this document is issued by land department to you as a sole owner of the property. So what do we have here? Number one, you have the, and it says on top, which is the title deed, issue date 21, you have the date of registration. Then you have mortgage status, it's not mortgage. A lot of ready properties are also mortgage, so it's very important whenever you are seeing the title deed. Because, why is it important? Because to transfer a property which is not mortgage or bought in cash is different than transfer a property which is mortgaged by a bank. To sell, to transfer a property, there are different processes. So you as a broker should get all this information by looking at this document at least. Property type, it's a flat. Community, business bay. Plot number 146, that's the plot on which the building has been constructed. Municipality number, this is all like the numbers of the area and all codes. Building number, building name, Bingati Canal. Property number 408. So we already established that the first is the floor and then is the series. So 408, so it's automatically 4th floor. Then we have parkings and suite area and balcony area. So your suite area, yani your internal area, carpet area of the property except the balcony is 36.36. What do you think it is, square meters or square feet, Rafia? Square meters, yes. So if you want to convert this to square feet, what are you going to do? You're going to convert this. This is square meters, yes. To square feet, what are you going to do? Multiply it by 10.764. You are going to do this 2000 times in a day if you want to be a broker. So just fit it in your brain quickly. Then there is underneath, it's showing area in square feet, area in square meter and your common area. Now you know what is common area, Fahad?
Yes.
Perfect.
Are you sure it's a square feet?
No, there is no common. On that we write only generally. Somebody can share a title deed of a. Okay, perfect. We will look at that. It has plot area basically. So, and then underneath it says the name of the owner and their share. If we have 1 owner, 2 owner, 3 owner, 4 owner, everything will be written over there. And one more important thing is mentioned. A title deed shows you everything, by the way. You don't need to ask the seller after that anything. You know when it is purchased, you know what price is it purchased, what are the specifics of the property, this and that, everything is written. So underneath that you can see that it is purchased from whom, at what date, at what price. It says purchased from Mehdi, whatever, by the land registration number this, and the date is 21/8/2023 and the amount is this, 1 million UAE dirhams only. And this property and its ownership is subject to the terms of the jointly owned property declaration of the above mentioned community and to the regulations issued. Why do you think that is written over there? Farah? Basit? You're not in the group, right? Oh, I'm so sorry. So basically, आपके पास कोई भी title deed होगी. Dania, why do you think ये जो आखिर में लिखा है, ये क्यों लिखा है? This property and its ownership is subject to the terms of the jointly owned property declaration. कॉमन सेंस का क्वेश्चन है ये. मूसा, who is going to answer? Nobody knows? When you're buying a property in a tower, you're sharing, you are jointly owned, you're jointly owning the property because it is on a piece of land on which other people are also. So it comes under the declaration of jointly owned properties. We will read it in the RERA book and all that, but that is why it's written over there. Because of course you are the sole owner of the unit that you reside in, but you're still in partnership with, because you're with the plot owner, or let's say all the other people who own the property, the next floor and the floor underneath and this and that. So you are still part of jointly owned properties. So that's why जो उनका legal law है वो आप पे apply होता है. इसीलिए वो common area और ये सब और जो maintenance charges pay करते हैं, all of that is mentioned in it as well. Okay, perfect. So have you understood the difference between title deed and uqud and how does that work? Dania has also shared the, it's a title deed, the last one, can you guys open it? It is issue date, mortgage status, property type, land. And then it says community Medina Hind 4. And And most of the time you will see that on the townhouses and villa communities, the name of the community is mentioned, but the name of the project probably is not there. Where the land has been, the land is a part of, let's say, of Dubai land, but it is in Arjan. I'm just giving you an example. So probably Arjan you might not see, you will see Dubai land. So that's what's happening over here as well. Because they for townhouses and villas, they consider the piece of land as in your ownership. So that is why, what property is this, Dania? This is Damak Hills 2. But Damak Hills 2 is not written anywhere. And it's a townhouse? It's a how many bedroom townhouse? 3 plus maid. So that is also not written over here. Because they have sold a plot of land to you with a built up. So they have a separate document for it. But whenever you're buying a townhouse or a villa, the title deed that you'll get is in the ownership of the plot that you own. Do you understand that? So if a buyer comes to you or a seller comes to you and asks you that, let's suppose I'm a buyer and I'm buying a townhouse through you, and you show me this title deed, and I'll ask you, where is it written that it is a 3 bedroom and where is it written that it is? So then you can explain it to the client that, sir, for townhouse and villas, you have the specifics of the plot mentioned and you have the details of your ownership. That is how. Yes, for that, what are you going to do? You're going to get an affection plan or the floor plan, which is with the property, to understand what are the property specifics, dimensions, this and that. So just like in an apartment, you get to know everything from the title deed. In a townhouse or a villa, you might not. You might be a little bit confused. So you can speak to the seller and get all the clarity on which project it is and all. But once you become an area specialist, you automatically know what's written on that title deed in that area. For it, yeah, it's not going to be there. In case of townhouses and villas, Dania, it is never going to be there. Always remember that. So that's why most of the time the sellers, they keep the SPA, the sales purchase agreement, because that is the most detailed document, and the floor plans, so they can go through with that. But because this is how it works in the market, so people have an understanding of it. Nobody is going to ask you that give me a title deed where it says that it is in D2 in this class. Nobody is going to ask you, because this is how the title deeds are generated for townhouses and villas. For example, somebody has a title deed of Damak Hills, Damak Lagoons. Wait, let me share it on the group also, just to give you an example. Townhouse की, villas की, किसी की भी कर लो. और title deed तो है नहीं ना उसकी, अभी वो है. I just have the uqud. Let me just share it with you guys. Why I want to share? I want to show you how does it look.
For a flat, Golf Vista.
No, we're talking about initial contract of sale. The uqud will have this information, by the way. But because we are still in a relation with the developer, we are making payments to the developer, right? 1 second, I'm just trying to find out where it is. नहीं SP नहीं चाहिए, SP नहीं चाहिए. बताती हूँ आपको, भेज रही हूँ. Okay, so let me just share it with you guys. In lagoons, what happens is, so this is a title deed for lagoons. If you are an outsider and you are not a specialist in that area, you don't know what area is it. It says Island Oasis Properties. But if you're a specialist in Damak Lagoons, all the uqud have this name on it. This is their land name. So that's on the uqud for all of them. And you have the details. This property is in Santorini and all that, but nothing is mentioned. Like Dania just mentioned, that cluster name, how many number of bedrooms, it's not written. So it is established that for a townhouse and villa, we will have limited information, and mostly the information of the plot and the area on the title deed. When it was bought, how much it was bought, this and that. That's it. Not the cluster area, not the specifics of the build up, this and that will not be there. This is the basic way how the title deeds and OQs are generated for townhouses and villas. So don't get confused if somebody is going to give you this information like that. Because this is the trend, this is how these title deeds are made. Understood? Is it clear, right? What's common area, Fahad?
One question.
Yes.
The service charges which they are paying for that apartment. So they need to pay for the common area also, which they will get or no?
Basically what happens is the service charges are basically on the built up area of the property. Service charges are paid on the built up area, and sometimes you will also see that the balcony, let's suppose, is very big. It's like 500 square feet or so. At that time, when the balcony area is too big, balcony area pe bhi apply hota hai. But when the balcony is too big, 0.25% of the balcony area is covered in it, and it is added to your maintenance, this thing. That's how basically, but in some, also in developers, there's a bit of difference sometimes when they are charging you as well. Some of them they include everything and they charge you and all. But on a basic level, your built up area or your carpet area is charged with your maintenance charges. So now we know that in an Uqud, what happens, in a townhouse, what happens, you have smaller built up, bigger built up, smaller plot, and the walls are attached. So you know, when you look at a townhouse and you look at a villa, you will understand which one is a townhouse, right? So townhouses we have done. Now let's quickly do villas as well. We'll just do this because then it's quite in the villas, your built up is mostly smaller, mostly, not always. I'll tell you why. And your plot is bigger, generally. Why? Because but the difference between a townhouse and a villa is that no walls will be attached. You are not sharing a wall with anyone on either of the sides. And most of the times, the built up is in the middle and you have extra space on, that's why it's called a villa. But most of the times, the built up also gets bigger, because let's suppose I have a 10,000 square feet of plot of land and I am building on 6,000 square feet at G+1. So my built up area becomes 12,000, it's bigger than the plot area. So the basic difference between a townhouse and a villa is that no walls are attached with anyone. Yeah, maybe it's very little distance, but still it is not attached, so it's a villa. And you have generally lower built up and bigger plot in villas. But when somebody is building for their own, or if there's some luxury, anything, it can be more. It's not specific that it is always going to be. So this is a villa, and the title deed and Uqud will look exactly like it is for the townhouses. The plot of land and the community name will be mentioned on it. You will not have the specifics of how many bedrooms, this and that written here on the on your title. Semi-detached villas as well. So there is another, what's a semi-detached villa? Your one side is open and your one side is attached. This, huh?
Boundaries are touching?
Basically, for example, you have a row of townhouses. This is middle unit. This is corner unit, also called the end unit, because it's the last one. For example, you have another row next to it. Here you have no roads, it's a road. Okay. So these units are called, write it down because it's important, and you're going to, these are very basic things, but this is the basic stuff of townhouse and villas, so you should know that. This is called a middle unit, this is called a middle end unit or a corner unit, and this is an end unit, because there's nothing, it's road on that side or park or whatever. But this is a middle end unit because although it is a corner unit, but it is, again, there is a townhouse next to it. On the other side, there is some space, so it is an end unit. Or you can also say corner end unit. Are you getting my point, guys? Middle, corner end, and this is how we do that. Sometimes in townhouses also, and villas, villas mein hum use count nahi karte. This is not counted in villas. When your wall is attached, it's not a villa anymore. people can say that, you know, developers do give garden homes, this and that, semi-detached, this and that. So this is a middle product between a townhouse and a villa, where you have both units have privacy. Here only this unit and this unit has, but still it's a row of townhouses of 4, 6, 8, 10, a row. But here it's called semi-detached because first of all it is only going to be 2 units, and detached means one side is detached, one side is not touching anybody, and one side is attached. So this is a semi-detached. It can be townhouses. Mostly it's townhouses, not termed as villas, but people call it semi-detached villas also. They do say that. Just to, if it is a bigger product or a bigger ticket size, people do say that. But generally it's a townhouse when a wall is attached. It doesn't have, you don't have that privacy. You understood this? Anything else?
What are duplexes?
Duplexes are in apartments. There are a lot of bifurcations in apartments. Good you asked, we can just quickly do this also. What do we have? We have simplex, we have duplex, we have penthouses, we have no, suite, this is just a name, a presidential suite and just a name. It's not a type in terms of layout and all, but these are different types. A simplex is something else, a duplex is something else, a penthouse is, these are specific terminologies that we use in regards to apartments. Then what else is there? This is residential. If we have commercial, what do we have in commercial? Commercial real estate? Offices, retail, warehouses. What else? Hotel apartments.
And also the plots.
Plot. Plots. What else? Labor camps. What else is there in commercial? Okay, let me just quickly tell you what simplex and duplex is.
But also hotel apartment can also be a part of residential as well, right?
Yes.
Then why are we using it as commercial?
Because hotel apartments, when they are in timeshare, is commercial. Timeshare. For example, this SLS is timeshare because we have bought a property, but we cannot. It's a
Fraction.
It's a fraction. It's too complicated for now. Wait. Normally, all the apartments are simplex apartments. We don't use this term too much here in Dubai. It's used in other countries. An apartment which has all the rooms on the same floor, like your bedroom, your living room, your kitchen, everything is on one floor. It's called a simplex apartment, normal apartment. Okay. And what's a duplex?
Which has upstairs.
Yes, correct. Which has, for example, this is your apartment. It can have 2 living units. Like this is the door, you enter, and then you have staircase which takes you to the upper floor. You have living room here, and then you go upstairs, and then so if you have 2 units, it's called duplex. You have 2 floors within a similar apartment. It's called a duplex. What's a penthouse, Farah?
We can say like 2 units but 1 roof, so it calls also a duplex.
2 units and 1 roof?
Yes, like only a roof is there, the 1 roof. Or will attach the one roof.
Anything which has 2 floors
Okay.
is a duplex.
Anything has 2 floors in an apartment is
Yes, on the same floor when you enter, but your apartment is duplex, it has 2 floors. I have my living and kitchen and everything on this floor, then I take stairs and I go up, but it's the same apartment. Generally, we have simplexes here, but duplexes are also there. What's a penthouse? Dania?
Yes. And an apartment on the roof or the top of the building.
Normally, it comes in the luxury, this thing, an apartment which is on the very top of the building is a penthouse, but it's mostly, if it is luxury, mostly it is half floor, full floor.
And also one thing, has it have all the amenities inside the penthouse?
Not always. They can be customized, they can be designed. Again, let's suppose there's a tower, a residential tower. It has 38 floors. That 30th floor is layout is same like the first floor layout. It's not a penthouse. You don't call it a penthouse. It's an apartment on the 38th floor. It's a high floor apartment, this and that. We call it a penthouse when it is more luxurious, when it has a bigger layout, when it has some extra amenities to it and it still sits on top of the floor. Then generally I'm telling you that in real estate, penthouses are the most luxury products in terms of a building because they're on the top floor, they get the best views. Normally it is, if you want to sell higher price, you have to make it like a full floor, half floor thing. So you have a lot of extra amenities, you have something extra to offer. That's when it becomes a penthouse. So we have different types of apartments. Basit, it's cleared, right? You shared the video, Farah, on the group. Have a look at the duplex video that Farah has shared. Yes, okay, so this is an apartment which has a staircase within the apartment and has another floor on top of it. So this is a duplex apartment. Share it with Basit also because he was, well, let me share it with you, Basit. Basit, why don't I have your number? Can you send me hi? You're not on the group? Oh, haan, we did. I don't think so if I can add you. I can add you. But first I need to have your number.
But in this video, there is also another stair.
Roof access is there also.
Basit, when I try to save your number, it says keep learning. Remove it from there, put your name wahan par. So whoever is going to save your name will not save keep learning and they will forget about what I saved your. That should be on your status or something. It shouldn't be on in place of your name. क्या पूछ रहे थे आप? सॉरी, आपको ऐड करना है. राफे, can you send me a message? I didn't get any message. Okay. Rafi, also change your name please. It says RQ. Put your full name because see now we have to present ourselves as professionals. You should make your WhatsApp business, add your details, add a catalog, put things that you want to advertise yourself like. Put a professional picture over there. Put your company details, your mobile number, your email address, things like, so that when somebody is saving your number, at least they get an idea about who you are. And even if you are randomly approaching someone, like we are going to do that, right? We are going to approach people, send them messages. They'll say, oh, whatever, some wannabe is sending me a message. Should, this is, okay, this is the person. They might be interested. I will not be interested if somebody is sending me r.q and then some slash on top of it, or keep learning. I will not be interested to save this number, okay? Okay, I'm just adding you in the group. See guys, these are very, very basic things. And the reason I'm telling you this is that nobody has told us these things. And we wasted a lot of time in trying to figure out how to do it in the right way. So if we don't know what's the right direction, we will do A, B, C, D, E, F until we crack our code. How do we do this in the best way? So I'm telling you all of this so that you don't do that that useless dance. So you can find your way easier. Rafia. Rafia, I've added you in the group and now you can see everything. So this is a duplex video of Basit, where you have the kitchen and the living on the first floor, and then when you go upstairs, you have your bedroom and this and that. And then that roof, it's also connected to the rooftop. So there are different specifications. Sometimes there are different kind of, there can be more different types of apartments as well, but these are the most basic ones that we will always find. If there is anything specific that comes in, you can study that on your own and see how does that work. So just to quickly wrap up the training for today, I'll just finish this so we can start the next. We do have hotel apartments. No, not hotel apartments. Let's just start from. Sometimes we get furnished apartments. Then there are also semi-furnished apartments. We also have serviced apartments. These are all residential, by the way. Furnished apartments. What do you think is furnished?
Fully furnished, which are the bed
Fully furnished apartments are the apartments which come completely fitted and furnished and have all the loose furniture as well as it is shown to you. So if somebody is saying it's a completely furnished apartment, so it's understood that everything including the furniture, fixtures, this and that is going to be there in the apartment. If something is semi-furnished, what do you mean by that generally?
Without appliances.
Without appliances? With appliances. When somebody, a general concept of a semi-furnished apartment used here is, we use semi-furnished term when the apartment comes with
Without furniture and with appliances.
with white goods. The term is kitchen white goods, which are basically your appliances. Okay, but it doesn't come with fixtures and loose furniture. It doesn't come with all of that. However, the apartments are fitted. Completely fitted means you have all the fixtures in place. You will have probably a place to put the bulb, but you will not have the chandelier or anything with it. You will have a complete fitted wardrobes, this and that. However, the furniture, the loose furniture, bed, etc. is not going to be there. So this is semi-furnished. Basit, don't forget, okay? Anything, if somebody says that I have a semi-furnished apartment, it generally means that it comes with the white goods. It has all the kitchen appliances. And serviced apartments, what are serviced apartments, anybody knows? Musa? What are serviced apartments?
Where
Maintenance
maintenance is provided.
is provided?
Services are there. Cleaning service, valet.
A serviced apartment is an apartment, comes also in residential. It does not mean, because when there is a commercial property, there is VAT on it. So you really need to understand if somebody is giving you a property for sale, whether it is a residential property or a commercial property. If they are, for example, giving you a one-bedroom apartment in Icon Tower B over here, which is a hotel serviced apartment. Residential serviced apartment is also there and a hotel serviced apartment is also there. Residential apartment means that it is only for your personal use, or you can rent it out on your own, this and that. And it is serviced, it means that it is furnished and they give you extra services, like because they are charging you for it. They give you, you have, for example, in a hotel, you have the lobby, you have concierge, you have bellboy services, you have cleaning services in week, like twice they are coming in to clean, and also the maintenance is covered. So these apartments are called serviced apartments, but they can be residential and they can be hotel serviced apartments. If it is a hotel serviced apartments, by the way, what's the difference, Musa? You already know that. What is the difference between a serviced apartment and a residential apartment? A furnished apartment or any normal apartment and serviced apartment, which is residential. Dania? your yearly maintenance charges. So, okay, I don't know if we discussed maintenance charges. Did we discuss maintenance charges, guys? No, right? Not yet. I'll just quickly tell you that and finish this with this final when you are in a building or an apartment, whether you own a property which is an apartment, a townhouse or a villa, you're paying certain service charges which are your yearly, which contributes towards your yearly service charges, or you can also call them maintenance charges, which basically contributes towards the property. So if you are an owner in a property, in a building and all, there are some services which are getting used. Let's say it has a lobby, so there is a security sitting over there, there is a lift which is working and operational, there is a pool and a gym that getting maintained, there is a garbage room which is getting paid for, there is cleaners who are cleaning the lobby and the corridors and this and that, and there is electricity which is used in the common areas, services which are getting provided to you. So all of that is not for free, right? Somebody is paying for it. Who is paying for it? All the owners in the building are paying for it. So they are paying, and they are that money is getting contributed towards. So for example, if for example, very common that you are paying, you have to pay a yearly service charge for that. Generally it is written in your sales purchase agreement. Mamza, you don't write anything. I don't know how you're going to remember everything, because I told you guys yesterday also to send me an email with the notes that you have made during the meeting, this training, and I want those notes. I'm not joking. So if you were not present yesterday and we didn't record the training, you sit with anybody else, see their notes, make a list and send it to me on the email, because you will never remember this. You're not a genius with a IQ of 180. I am not, so you can't be also. So please don't take it for granted. I'm not here for eternity, and I will not be, if you don't respect what I am saying, I don't think so I need to respect you too in that way. So make notes, because nobody is going to tell you again. So yearly service charges are going to be there, and generally it is, for example, it's charged per square feet, and it is very important that you know this, because this affects your return of the property. For example, I have a 1-bedroom apartment which is 70 square meters. Rafia, please convert it in square feet for me. How many square feet? Rafia? 1 square meter is equal to how many square feet, Fahad?
10.764.
Brilliant. Multiply it by 770 square meters. What is your answer? 750 square feet. So 1 bedroom is 750 square feet, and let's suppose the service charges is 12.76 square dirhams per square feet. What are your yearly service charges, Farah? 750 multiplied by 12.76. क्या आता है? So your yearly service charges are 9,000 dirhams. In 1 year, you are paying this as service charges towards the property. If somebody asks you, divided by 12, what is monthly service charge? 754 dirhams, is it? Is it correct? Was it? 754 dirhams per month, 9,000 dirhams per year. Service charges are taken by the authorities, either monthly, either quarterly, either yearly. It depends on the building and the service charge provider. Why did we speak about the service charges? Because you understood this, Rafia? You understood it? Write down things. Don't.
I forgot my notes. That's why.
You don't have your phone? You don't have notes in it?
I have notes.
Hamza? मैं पूछूंगी ना जब आपसे और आपको याद नहीं होगा तो फिर अच्छा नहीं होगा. Why did I speak? So a normal residential property, let's say I have let's say a 1 bedroom which is 750 square feet, and the service charges is less than 0.76 square feet. So my yearly service charges comes out to be 9,000 dirhams per year. When it is a service property, they are providing you some extra service, right? So your maintenance charges are going to be higher. That's where you get the hit. So maybe if that's the case, maybe your service charge is going to be 25 dirhams per square feet. It is definitely going to be higher because you're getting an extra service, right? So that is why it's a service department, a furnished and a service department. So whenever you're pitching a property to someone, for example, it is 25 dirham per square feet. Basit, can you calculate 750 into 25? How much is that? You don't have calculator in your phone? 18,000? 750 dirhams per year, which is divided by 12. Monthly how much?
Divided by 12. This is 1562.5.
1562.5 dirhams per month. So you are paying extra. Why is this important? Because whenever you are pitching a project to someone or you are selling a property to anybody, the maintenance charges you must know. Why? Because this one bedroom, let's say, is getting rented at 70,000 dirhams. Okay, because it's a normal one bedroom apartment. And you're calculating the return for this property. This person has bought this one bedroom at 750,000 dirhams and has rented it for 70,000 dirhams and is paying a maintenance charge which is 9,000 dirhams. And this is the price. How do you calculate rent, Musa? How do we calculate, return? Return कैसे calculate करते हो यार? ROI.
Rental amount को minus कर देंगे.
Yes. Whatever is your earning, what is it? 70,000 minus 9,000 divided by?
Property value and
Into 100, yes. तो हमारा basically, this is your gross income, right? 70,000. This is not your net income. Your net income is after you deduct your maintenance charges. So आपकी net income कितनी बनी? 61,000. Divided by the price you have bought the property at. Into 100. What is your net income, your return? ROI is 8.13%. So you're making an ROI of 8.13%. Sajid, did you understood or nahi, samajh nahi aaya? Okay, let me just explain to you again. Guys, this is a very important concept. This is the last thing we are doing today in the training, but it's very important and understand this very, very in detail. Rafia, please pay attention, and if you don't understand it, ask me that I didn't get it. There is a formula for ROI, return on investment. And this is very important because whatever you're going to sell, people are going to, what's the ROI in this case? If you're selling me this property, what kind of rent can I make? What kind of income can I generate from this? What kind of percentage that I can create? So you should be really well versed with this formula. And how does that, your net income, your net yearly income divided by your price that you've bought it. This is the formula. Okay. Now we were just discussing the difference between a residential unit and a serviced unit, a normal unit and a serviced unit. Why do people prefer either one of the two, and financially or numbers wise, which is a better option generally? For example, you have bought a property at 750,000 dirhams, okay, and it is getting rented at 70,000 dirhams. We calculated the yearly maintenance charges, which are 7 dirhams per square feet. So accordingly, our maintenance is what? How much? 750? 9,000. And now this client is asking me, Farwa, what is my ROI? So generally, two types of ROIs are there: a gross ROI and a net ROI. My gross ROI will just be with my rent that I'm earning divided by the price, which is 750,000. But this is not my actual ROI. It's the gross, because I'm still paying maintenance, right? So what is the gross ROI, Basit? Divide kare. Quickly divide it.
Gross ROI is 9.3%.
Gross ROI is 9.3%. And what's my net ROI, Dania?
That was 8.13.
How am I going to calculate my net ROI?
Net year income divided by
70,000 minus 9,000 divided by 750,000 dirhams. Okay. What is this? 61,000?
Yes, it was 61.
What's the ROI that is for Dania?
8.13.
In 200, sorry. Did you get it? Fahad?
Yes.
Sajid? Understood? Musa? तुमको तो आना चाहिए यार, इसीलिए नहीं हो रही है तुम्हारी डील. This is the basic formula to calculate ROI, and you're going to use it 100,000 times every day. So you should be really well versed with this. Price, your net income divided by price into 100, and this is how you calculate it. Now when you're calculating it for a service property which has a much higher maintenance charges, your ROI will be very low. Of course the price and all is also higher, but it has a different perks. So somebody who wants to live into a property and wants that extra service, they will like it. But if there is an investor who is only concerned about numbers, he is not going to live into the property, that's not really a feasible option for them, right? That is why you should know all of this. So this is, you've done it, I'm going to rub it. Done? So we did this and we calculated that our net ROI for your net ROI is 8.13%, correct? Now in the same building we have a serviced apartment, okay, which somebody has bought at 1 million dirhams, let's say. Let's just put it like this, and the service charges are 25 dirhams per square feet. Let's say it's 700 square feet apartment, okay? Tanya, can you calculate?
Yes.
What is the maintenance charges?
17,500.
700 into 25, 17,500 dirhams per year.
Yes.
Now because it is a highly serviced apartment and it has all of, it gets rented at 100,000. Okay, so now we are going to calculate the gross ROI and net ROI. What is the gross ROI? 100,000 total rent divided by 1 million. Do it please. What's the calculation like?
10%. The gross is 10%.
10%. And what's the net ROI now? 100,000 minus, how much is our 17,000?
Divided by 1 million. This is 8.25.
8.25.
Yeah.
This has become better because I have reduced the size of the property. But just to give you an example.
Also increase the rental price.
And also, of course, a service apartment is going to be rent. But generally, the maintenance charges are much higher in service apartments. We just calculated at 25. It's generally a third. Burj Khalifa has what? 70 dirhams per square feet. Okay. So generally, a serviced apartment by MR also is close to 29-30 dirhams per square feet.
I think there is also one tower in Harbour, I don't know.
64.
One is residential, one is service.
Yeah, so it's above 50 dirham per square. It's very high service charge. But I'm just giving you an example. You know how to calculate the gross ROI and the net ROI. Basit, you understood? This is how you're going to calculate whatever property you get. This is the basic formula for it. Got it? We will finish our session here. Tomorrow we are going to start from here itself. And please do not forget, whatever you are learning, make notes. And Danish, we're done.